Can you do this? When standing against the wall, can you get your head and shoulders back against the wall? If you can, great. This video is going to help prevent you from ever walking in that hunched forward posture. If you can't, then this video is also going to be helpful to you. That hunched forward posture, whether it be when we're standing or walking, makes us look older and unhealthy. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop walking hunched forward or in that forward stoop posture so that you can make your walk more upright and more efficient. Thoracic hyperkyphosis, that hunched forward posture. Whether it's standing or you moving while walking, we need to fix it. I'm not going to bore you with lots of research that show you that it's bad for us. Let me just summarize what a couple of these studies show. This study here concludes thoracic hyperkyphosis had a high prevalence and associated with impaired performance in balance, gait, and cardiopulmonary function tests. Another study showed that thoracic kyphosis is associated with impaired physical performance, health, and quality of life. I think that's enough for us to understand that we need to change this, and that is the purpose of this video. Let's briefly touch on the causes. One of the main causes is poor postural habits, and likely poor postural habits over a long period of time. You don't go to bed one night walking nice and tall and wake up the next day like this. It takes years of poor postural habits that create this hunched forward posture while we're walking. There are other causes like osteoporosis that end up in compression fractures, degenerative disc disease that can change the angle of our spines, and as well as certain medical conditions like Sherman's disease, Parkinson's, can all end up in that stooped forward posture. What I want to do now though, I want to get right to it and show you the exercise you can do right now to help prevent yourself and help stop walking with that bent over forward hunched posture. Let's get to it. The first movement involves stretching our psoas. So how we stretch this effectively is we're going to have our one knee up, our one knee down. We're going to activate our glute, so you're going to actually make it hard, and then we're going to push and drive our pelvis forward. You should start to feel that in the front. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hold this stretch for at minimum 30 seconds, but you can hold it up to about 60 seconds. And we want to do this on both sides, obviously, and we want to do this for 2 sets. Now what this is going to do, it's going to really help open up our hips and pelvis to allow us to engage in a proper walking technique. Same thing for the other side. Engage the glute, fire the glute, drive your pelvis forward, lean into it. You're really going to feel that. Some of you'll feel it right at the top. I'm feeling it in the middle belly, right down to the front of the thigh. Hold this position for 30 seconds, up to 60 seconds. These movements I'm going to show you, you're going to want to do in sequence because we're going to work from the bottom up because each of you will have different restrictions in different parts. And now for those that can't get on the floor or find that one too aggressive, what you can do is approach your wall. We're going to bend the forward knee, and we want to make sure that as we bend towards the wall, that our body is upright, that we're not allowing it to hunch forward, what we're trying to prevent. Same thing, fire that glute, and for most of you, you'll still feel it in that front. This provides a little more balance and stability for those that need it. And again, the same thing applies to the opposite leg. We're going to bend forward. You can use 2 hands if you like, and really fire that glute and drive it forward while maintaining that upright posture. For the next movement, we're going to do a rocking pelvis. So this one's easy. We're going to stand up, and all we're going to do is place your hands on your hips, and we're going to rock our pelvis forward and backwards. Nice and slow, about 10 repetitions for 2 sets. Again, I want you to do this immediately after the psoas stretch. This just increases the mobility in your pelvis, hips, and low back to allow that posture to become more upright while walking. An alternative to standing, if you have a TheraBall, it can be done the same way, the same thing. We're going to just rock forward and back, trying to increase the mobility in our low back and pelvis. Again, you'd perform this for 2 sets of 10 repetitions. Okay, for this next one, you can get on the floor, on your bed. This is more of an exercise to really strengthen the posterior muscles in the back. That's going to help support that upright walking posture. There's a few variations you can do. The first one, your hands can be to your side. You start low with your head and just extend up and hold for 5 to 10 seconds. And come down. and up. 5 to 10 second hold, and down. For some of you, that's going to be very difficult, and that's okay. If you can only get up a few inches to start, then that's where you'll start, and you'll do sets of 10. For others, it's going to be really easy. And so how to make it more difficult is your hands can come above, and you can hold them up too for 5 to 10 seconds, and come down. This exercise, you're going to really feel it in those muscles of the back. And that is exactly what we want. We need those to be stronger so that when you are walking, you're able to hold your posture in the right position to make for a much more efficient gait, but also to give you more balance and stability while you're walking. We've done 3 exercises, we have 2 more, and at the very end, I'm going to give you some very important tips that's going to tie it all together to make sure you're successful in changing that hunched forward walking posture. For this next exercise, we're going to need a rolled towel or even a pillow will do. I'm going to start with a pillow because I think most people have access to that. This one's a simple one too. What we're going to do, we're going to lie on our back over the top of the pillow so that your head is at the edge. All we're going to do is open up our shoulders, and we're going to take our arms and extend over our head and down. Really open up your shoulders, take a deep breath, open up your rib cage here as your arms come back. It's going to increase your shoulder mobility too, which will be very important for your arm swing, which we will talk about in the next minute or so. You're going to do 2 sets of 10 repetitions. For some of you, you might find this easy. So for those, you can either use a rolled towel right again in the middle part of your mid-back, like that, or even a yoga block will be much more aggressive. We're back standing up. You should be quite warm. Your postural muscles should be fired. You should have a little bit more mobility in some of those stiff areas. One of the last things that we're going to discuss before we talk about those tips to tie everything together is this last exercise, and it's simply walking backwards. I want you to grab the side of a wall, the side of a couch, and I want you just to practice walking backwards for 5 to 6 steps. Do this like 3 to 4 times. It just helps build some stability and postural awareness and motor control that I find really helpful for training your ability to walk in a more upright and not in this hunched over posture. Another interesting study that just came out that shows that walking downhill can help correct that forward hunched posture. And it makes sense. As you walk downhill, you will automatically stand more upright and engage a lot of postural muscles that will help maintain that. So if you do have a decline or a hill to walk down, that in itself can help as well. The tips I'm going to share with you now are probably the most important part of this video. They might even be more important than the exercises I just showed you. One of the best things to do immediately following that routine is to get yourself up and go for a 10 to 15 or a 20-minute walk. When you're walking, you want to lightly engage your core muscles. You should be walking with a lightly flexed core muscular brace around your low back. The other thing you want to do is you want to lead your walking with your chest, not your head. What I mean by that is when you're walking, try to increase the distance between the bottom part of your ribs and your pelvis or hip. Open that up slightly, lead with your chest and not with your head. That will go a long way in getting you in a more upright walking posture. Swing your arms while you're walking. When you're swinging your arms when you walk, you're counterbalancing the forces and creating a very efficient movement pattern. Swinging your arms properly is vital to good walking posture. When you're walking, you need to walk at a good pace. A good pace would be if you are running late for a meeting. That is a pace that helps create the perfect movement pattern for your walking posture. A bonus of that, it will really help engage your muscles. That's going to help support your lower back. That can help reduce pain if you do have lower back pain. If you do the movements I just went through with you, as well as apply the tips we just discussed, I know you'll successfully fix that hunched forward walking posture in no time at all. If you have a question or comment, please leave it in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer it as soon as I can. If you're new to my channel and you found this video helpful, maybe you'll show some support by giving me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you can be informed when I upload a new video. I can't wait to see you in my next video. Until then, stand and walk tall.